Yes, it's some way that's manifest there. Good morning and welcome to the AM show today, Friday the 8th of October, the morning after my birthday and that of the Vice President, Dr. Mamadou Bawumia, my colleague George Quay, musician Kwao Kese, and many other famous Ghanaians. It was also the birthday of Prosper Harrison-Ado of the Ghana Football Association. And talking about the GFA, today is also the morning before the Black Stars play their World Cup qualifier against Zimbabwe. The match is crucial because the pundits say we necessarily have to win to keep our chances alive of qualifying. Being the first outing of Milo since his second coming, all eyes are on this match. Many expect him to justify the money that we're paying him. You can call it the first cap of Milo on his second coming. Yeah, all pun intended. We'll bring in our sports team for an extended conversation and also hear what your expectations are and what you make of the Black Stars as they prepare for this encounter. So it turns out getting nominated by the president for the MMDCE position, however tough a hurdle that is, never makes it a fait accompli. Securing the approval of the assembly for many is becoming a whole lot tougher. It has been smooth sailing for some, though, such as Elizabeth Saki, the first Accra female mayor, even though it's become apparent that there's quite a lot that goes on behind the scenes with money changing hands. This morning, would understand some of these backroom dealings and its implications, and if anything at all can be done about it. We have all that, plus more sports, plus the AM news, plus the showbiz, plus, well, guess who's back? Enimwa is back. My name is Israel. I do stay tuned in.
Good morning and welcome to the AM News here on the AM Show. In our very first story, there's a new opportunity to make Accra a model city in the West African sub-region. That's the declaration of Elizabeth Saki as she secured 100% confirmation of all 30 assembly members of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to become the first female mayor of Accra. Even though her nomination was greeted by spontaneous protests and vandalization of property, the AMA City Hall saw a united push for her approval led by Regional Minister Henry Korte with significant support from minority MPs of the Greater Accra Caucus in Parliament. As new mayor of Accra, Elizabeth Saki says it is time to chart a new path to make Accra an example for the west of West Africa. Manuel Kranting was at the confirmation and he now reports.
Jubilant scenes at the City Hall of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly as all 30 members gave a unanimous confirmation to Elizabeth Saki as the first female mayor of the city. Her nomination was greeted by violent protests by NPP party faithfuls within the Ododo-Diodio constituency with demands that former mayor Mohammed J. is maintained, an incident the former mayor himself had condemned. But in a sharp contrast of events, there was a united push for her approval on Thursday, even from some NDC MPs within the metropolis. Alfred Okuvandapoy is MP for Ablekuma South and former Accra mayor.
We are all supporting because we know that the nominee has been an assembly member before. She has been a member of parliament. She has been a deputy regional minister, and we think that she is ready to take on the seat as the chief executive of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. And I think that she will be a team player. She would be one that will be a stakeholder, will work with the stakeholders, and I think that she'll be ready to face the challenges of the Accra Metropolitan.
After her confirmation, Elizabeth Saki said it is time to make the city of Accra a model in West Africa.
This city is endowed with numerous human and material resources that could be harnessed for the benefit of our people. There is a lot of work to be done. Therefore, this is a clarion call for all to come on board so that we can achieve our goals. To my assembly members and the staff of the assembly that I will be working with, I will need your unflinching support on easy, they say, is the head that wears the crown. But with a strong neck to support the head, the crown will be very light.
For the chiefs and other traditional authorities, she must endeavor to include them in decision-making. Here's Abula Manche of the Ga Traditional Council.
Of challenge, and we'll throw our support behind her to succeed. The only thing we need from her is to collaborate with the chiefs and decision-making or stakeholders that needs to take stance on most of the things of development that will go around the community or the metropolis needs to be consulted by the chiefs.
Meanwhile, Regional Minister Henry Korte thanked the Assembly members for their unanimous endorsement and pledged to lead the agenda to make the Ga State a force to reckon with.
You go to a place like Nima, where you have 10 NDC Assembly members and 1 NPP person, but you still get 100%. She remokoni we ma we bia no once a cash me no ye unye fia na kai no we cash me no no on lead ye ka ka David ye e to NDC you e fe NDC be a few 100% abe o mo be ngona cash no kai.
Departing from the tall list of men who have served as Lord Mayors of the nation's capital, Elizabeth Saki is expected to bring her experience as a former MP and former Deputy Regional Minister to help make Accra work. Manuel Cranting, Joy News, Accra.
Concerned Assembly members in the Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly have returned money given to them by the President's nominee for the Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly, Ernest Arthur. The group, numbering over 20, say they can no longer keep the money the President's nominee gifted them prior to the voting process because they want to protect their integrity and maintain their firm stance at protecting the progress of Cape Coast. At a news conference at the premises of the Metro Assembly on Thursday, October 7th, spokesperson for the group, Usman Abam Ejin, indicated the speculations they have gone to collected money from the President's nominee and still voted against him was denting their image. Richard Kojo Nyakon has more in the following report.
There were speculations that the NDC Assembly members were gifted 3,000 Ghana cedis, while their counterparts in the MPP were given 2,000 Ghana cedis by the President nominee for the Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly. These speculations, the group says, has tarnished their image gravely. The Assembly members collated all the money given them individually into a brown envelope and presented it.
This was given to us as a gift. We did not ask for any money. Neither do we hide in any vacuum for any explanation that this money should be done or specific direction. He gave us as a gift, and gift is a gift. But we, the concerned Assembly members, we are here to give it back to him. Then people of Cape Coast should stop accusing fingers, and we are here to protect our integrity, as I said earlier. The timing is good because we want our fellow Assembly members to follow suit that monies given before voting is not a good ethical behavior. We are setting a precedent that we, the concerned Assembly members in Cape Coast, we are rejecting these gifts, not in the stand of buying our conscience, but we vote willingly that we represent Oga, and Oga has spoken, and that is it.
The group says they resolved to vote for whoever the President nominated, but sadly they can't come to terms to vote for Ernest Arthur because his attitude does not bode well for the people of Cape Coast. The Assembly members advanced reasons why they voted against Ernest Arthur and why they would vote against him over and over again.
It was resolved by all honorable members to vote for whoever the President nominates. However, we have repeatedly rejected Ernest Arthur, President nominee, on 2 occasions. This is as a result of guiding against future violence and insecurity of the people of Cape Coast, as well as 2000 2024 general elections. Again, we took this firm stand on the background that the gentleman in question, bizarre attitude towards elders and people of Cape Coast, as well as the technocrat who is working with. He executed projects without recourse to the assembly. We are also worried and sympathize with our colleague who he revoked his appointment yesterday at the assembly during our voting without any explanation to the assembly members.
They also rejected speculations that the MP for Cape Coast South, George Kweku Rickett Hagan, gave each of them $100 in order to vote against the president's nominee. On Monday, the assembly members would be voting again to confirm or reject the president's nominee. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejonya-Akon, Cape Coast.
Now, some aggrieved assembly members of the Asin South district in the central region have invoked curses on the newly confirmed DCE for Asin South, Felicia Emisa in Trakwa, Ghana Police Service and EC officials for not allowing them to take part in the just ended election to confirm the DCE. They slaughtered sheep, used eggs and bottles of schnapps to invoke the curses. They want the gods to deal with them for the injustice they have perpetrated against them. Richard Kwejonya-Akon has more in the following report.
The 15 assembly members slaughtering a sheep to begin the invocation of curses on the president's nominee, the police and the Electoral Commission. The curses then began. They called on river gods and other deities to do justice for them. They then alleged that they were prevented from taking part in the confirmation process and they don't agree that the process undertaken today was legitimate.
Coordinating the letter, MIN time 9:30 a.m. and I don't pay. Yamu be bedru hanumo 7:30. Yanam koma ye banano. Minya message 7:35. Ye bedru be on gaje say oh, 8 o'clock near to abano. It's yamu be bia ya to yaba. In Zion Pentecost Church.
We were given 9:30 a.m. as the reporting time, but we even came here a few minutes to 8. When we got to the venue they gave us, we got a text that the voting was taking place at Asankran. They had changed the venue. We arrived there only to find the police there in their numbers. The regional chairman of MPP, the MP for the area, the district police commander, the regional police commander had brought a team of policemen, muscularly built. They had blocked the entrance and prevented us from getting in. We want to say that our electoral areas expected us to take part in the process, and these tactics that have been employed is really shameful. It's not the police that will vote to get us our DCE.
Party executives and a baby, DC, Amaya. Me, Yaya, one mobile electoral free mobile. And the electoral we are finding themselves, and they are Baba Tuaba, Yaya DC. Yanka police for Uncle Tuaba, and Yaya DC.
They are thus calling on the president to ensure that the DCE nominee is not recognized as a DCE for the Asin South district. To them, they don't recognize that there has been any confirmation done. The group did not leave it at that. They say they will be heading to the law court for redress.
18, 19, 20.
Nonetheless, the confirmation process went on, and Madam Felicia Emisan-Trakwa polled 21 out of the 21 vote casts. He secured 100%. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejenyakon, Cape Coast.
He failed to reach his potential as a footballer, but now wants to make a name for himself as the man at the center of the game. Alexander Kofi's dance moves while refereeing matches have made him an internet sensation overnight. Like him, many talents in the Bukom shanty town go unnoticed, but a new football competition staged on Monday nights have given people like Alexander a platform to gain attention, and he's hoping he could attract support for himself and other acts in the area to break through. Joy News' Justice Baidu went for a game night in Bukom and sent us this report.
Alexander Kofi started playing Colts football with Black Stars great Lai Kingston. Now he is a barber, plying his trade in the small kiosk inside Bukom. He has been a community referee at the middle of games in the shanty town after abandoning his football career. Like many talent here, he says he had no support growing up.
Here, if you want to get people, somebody will help you. It's hard. It's hard.
Despite his refereeing, Kofi, popularly called Referee Somo by many in Bukom, dances when manning games, and he has gone viral for his moves.
You know, Bukom always fight, shouting, everything. They throw everything, stones. They bet too. They bet for them. So if maybe the goal not come here, then the crowd make noise. They throw everything. Then I'll talk to the DJ. They give me some small music, 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes to entertain the crowd, make everybody calm down.
If Manchester is not coming on, people will beat me now because people are enjoying it. If you see the crowd over here, people are enjoying it. People are selling. A lot of people are bring chairs and take a price from the chair. A lot of people are enjoying my program or my Monday start and I'm doing it. So I'm very happy.
Like many of Ghana's inner cities, Bukom is heavily deprived. Poverty is widespread, birth rates are high, and talent abound.
I don't learn dance, but Bukom, everybody know dancing for them. Bukom, if you come to Bukom, from Kidi up to 100 plus, maybe adult party or anything. If you see Oluma or Oledikra, if you put music for ground, they go dance.
Although it's not professional, but when it comes to community referee, it's very, very perfect. And you know, with time, when it's been given a chance to try this referee course, you will be able to master up and gear and go higher.
This AstroTurf pitch, built by the government in 2020, has given a platform for some of the hidden stars here to come show what they can do. Many, like referee Somo, are waiting to catch attention. So unlike him, they can take their craft beyond the small slum. Justice Baidu, Joy News, Bukom.
Well, that's it for the AM show. The AM news, this morning. The AM show continues right after this.
welcome.
Yeah, really.
Welcome.
You're shading me.
No.
You are shading me because at the end of the AM news I said, and that's it for the AM show.
Did?
Yes, I did.
Oh, sorry about that.
I closed the show at the end of the news.
Yeah. Okay, so the show isn't over. And we're getting into the newspapers and
I have the singular pleasure, honor bestowed on me by Israel to do the Daily Graphic this morning.
Yeah.
By the way, can I say a belated happy birthday? I'm so sorry I missed it yesterday. If I was here, I would have made your life hell.
I know.
Which means that you had a good day.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Anyways, let's get into the Daily Graphic this morning. Okay. So mining train heads north. Government commits to stringent regulation. And there's a picture of the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Mr. Samuel Abujinapo, on the front page of the Daily Graphic this morning. Police address insecurity in the cocoa sector. Saki is first female AMA boss, that's Mrs. Elizabeth Saki. More throw support behind the anti-LGBTQI+ bill. Okay, diving into the papers, let's just do a quick overview. Nigeria unveils a record $39.8 billion budget for 2022. Diplomatic undiplomacy or undiplomatic diplomacy. That's an opinion piece on some international stuff that's going on. Confirmation of MMDCES, all nominees endorsed in the OT region. Institutionalized Nana Kwame Ampedu's name, that's according to his family. Cerebral palsy students develops 2 apps, that's in education. FIFA approves 4,000 fans for Ghana versus Zimbabwe duel. Interesting. Show love to cured lepers. Dr. Baumia admonishes as he marks his 58th birthday. And it's time to stabilize soaring fuel prices. And that story is on page 39 of the Daily Graphic. Some details. So let me start with the $39.8 billion budget, Nigerian budget for 2022. So President Buhari has unveiled, well, it's actually 16.39 trillion naira budget on Thursday, with a projected 25% year-on-year rise in government spending as the economy struggles with the impact of the pandemic. So more details, and this story was done by Reuters. And let me just quote something that he said, that's President Buhari. He said, some have expressed concern over our resort to borrowing to finance our fiscal gaps. They are right to be concerned. However, we believe that the debt level of the federal government is still within sustainable limits. And that almost sounds like it's being said in Ghana, isn't it? We borrow, but we convince everybody that our debt levels are, sustainable. Yeah.
At this point, we can't say that anymore.
Well, you'd be surprised what we say even when we can't say it. So, earthquake kills 20 in Pakistan. Divert arms money for food and vaccines. Pope Francis is urging world leaders. And Biden to tout vaccine mandate for large companies. Okay, so more stories. Gender. Children in witch camps receive support. Why there are children in witch camps alone is pretty scary, isn't it? Women and girls' rights advocacy organization Song Taba, in partnership with Plan International, has supported 100 children and dependents of alleged witches in the nanny camp with school uniforms, bags, and books to promote their education. Now, the nanny camp, if you don't know about it, it's in the Yendi municipality of the northern region, and it's one of the 3 alleged witch camps in the region. So apparently these 3 witch camps have about 400 inmates, and there are women who live in these camps due to the accusations and banishments that they have suffered from their communities. Now they're barely fed, they're unable to afford other basic needs such as shelter, clothing, and healthcare, and some of them have children, and these children are dependents as well. It's kind of very disappointing that in 2021 we have witch camps and women being banished from their villages. Apparently, some of them are banished because their husbands die, and then they.
But there are those who also say that it's probably a safer space to keep them, because if you leave them out in the communities, then people go after them.
Yeah, but a safer space called a witch camp.
Yeah, and so we've been talking about rebranding them for a while.
Yeah. Because the stigma will continue, and they'll be branded as witches, and their children will be branded as children of witches, and so it kind of just never goes away. So how do you get them out of that system into a place where they're actually leading, better lives? Anyway. Okay, so I brought you that story about Elizabeth Saki, who's the first female AMA boss, and that story on page 17. Ghana to host extraordinary session of ECOWAS Parliament. That story there as well. Upper West House of Chiefs holds second general meeting. And middle page, resolve chieftaincy disputes for development. President entreats Equiapim chiefs. More proactive measures are needed to curb coups. And queues for Ghana. Oh, this is an interesting one. Queues for Ghana card at GRA offices in Accra. So there have been many long queues at some of the GRA offices in Accra. People have gathered to register their for their Ghana card. It follows, of course, by the decision that you're going to need your Ghana card to be able to re-register your SIM before March 2022. Otherwise, you cannot use your SIM anymore. So apparently yesterday, as of 5:30 a.m., many people had queued up at the GRA offices in the effort to register for the card. So there's a Kanishi First Light, Osu Ringway, Central, Achimota, Madina, Zongo Junction, and then the new premises of the AMA, where the registration processes are going on smoothly. Okay, so that's this thing is just anyway. But if you don't have a Ghana card, you do need to go out there and get it, register for one, because otherwise you can't re-register your SIM, so you will not be able to use your mobile money and all of those things by March next year. So you definitely want to get on that bandwagon. Something really nice, cerebral palsy student develops 2 apps. Okay. So members of an elated family could not hold back their tears when their son, Edmondo Wusu, who has been suffering from cerebral palsy from birth, clinched the Outstanding Student of the Year award at the 2021 graduation ceremony of Open Labs Ghana. Open Labs is formerly NIIT. That's so amazing. Yeah. So amazing.
Really cool.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's do a few more stories before I hand over to Israel. I'm not even going to get into this whole law school thing, but just going to read the headline. Admit 499 students to law school. Okay, it's a lot. Show love to cured lepers. Time to stabilize soaring fuel prices. That story there. Capping of minerals fund. Cabinet is considering a waiver for that. Student Loan Trust Fund gets new board. And spiritual churches are asking to be included on the National Cathedral Board. Oh, that's interesting. So the spiritual leader of the Prophets and Spiritual Churches Council, Ghana. I didn't know that there was a Prophets and Spiritual Churches.
I didn't know that too.
So they're non-spiritual church. Okay, I'm guessing it's okay. Prophet Nakwa Nazareth and Sajamson has called for the inclusion of the council on the board of trustees with the construction of National Cathedral. Now he's saying that spiritual churches have existed for so many years, and so they should be included. So there you have it. Lack of real estate data worrying. That's according to Ghana Real Estate Professionals Association. Okay, let's get into some sports. Premier League approves Newcastle takeover. That story on page 46. Abraham Hill's Mourinho's impacts on career development. And more focus to beat Fury. That's according to Wilder. Oh, that match is going to be crazy. FIFA approves 4,000 fans for Ghana-Zimbabwe duel. FIFA and CAF have approved Ghana's request to admit 4,000 spectators in tomorrow's Qatar 2020 FIFA World Cup Group G qualifier. Against Zimbabwe, it's happening at the Cape Coast Stadium. So Ayawaso Cards Gala on Sunday, and back page of the Daily Graphic, Road Safety Authority to remove vehicle unprescribed lamps. So you know how some of these vehicles have these major. Actually, if you look on the back page, you'll just see the lamps up there. So some vehicles have that, and it's so bright if you're coming against them at night. the road safety authorities to remove some of these lamps from the cars. Police housing project at Tesano, 65% complete. Okay, I'm done.
So let's go to the Ghanaian Times, and on the front page, at pre-launch of World Sight Day 2021, 227,920 Ghanaians blind, and 329,560 have severe visual impairment, 579,040 with moderate impairments. So where do you fall? And those of us who use glasses, I guess we would be 579,040 with moderate impairment.
Yeah.
Okay. So the story itself is on somewhere in the newspaper. But let's go to page 10. 10 suspects so far grabbed. Anglo Afiadenyigba robbery. It's featured here on the front page. But the story itself is on page 3. Then TOR investigates product storage transfer losses. In Africa News, Guinea junta leader appoints civilian prime minister. So the civilian prime minister has to oversee the transition to civilian rule following last month's coup. Moderna plans African vaccine plant, which is good news. So Moderna is planning to invest up to $500 million to build a factory in Africa to make up to 500 million doses of mRNA vaccines each year. And Texas abortion law temporarily blocked by judge in Pakistan. Earthquake kills 20. Then there's this feature on page 9. It says, are frozen embryos in laboratory test tubes people or property? That's very interesting. Very interesting question. Ebrihini appeals to government to invest in botanical gardening, and GTA trains Car Rental Association to improve standards. And on the missing TOR oil, the minority is hinting of triggering parliamentary inquiry. The story is on page 11. Then in politics, realign structures to encourage more women to contest these political parties have been urged. That's Dr. Zaneto Ajiman Rawlings, the Member of Parliament for Klote Korle in the Greater Accra region. And the story about the first female MCE for AMA in 125 years is on page 15. So, and other assemblies have confirmed 4, they have rejected 3. And it's been a very interesting confirmation process for, with some of the MCEs, or some regional, in Cape Coast, the regional minister had to go on her knees to beg the assembly members to approve the nominee. But even that wasn't enough.
Wow.
People still rejected him. And there are people who were saying that they took money, all right, but they rejected them.
Interesting.
Okay, so the story on the World Sight Day is in the center spread of the Ghanaian Times. And there's another story. Partner for Ghana-Burkina Faso Railway project to be selected by December. So there's a railway track that's being laid all across to Burkina Faso. If that is done, it would significantly improve trade and improve, accessibility. We can have goods coming into, going into the country. It's really going to open up that part of the country. And everywhere the railway line is running is bound to see some development. It was easier to get development to these areas if you have the railway lines. And it's going to save our roads as well, because then we don't have to move all that heavy cargo on our roads, which will reduce the lifespan. Right, so still in the Ghanaian Times, we go to page 23. Land Minister engages sector agencies in Upper East region, 150 Kaye and livelihood skills, which is good news. Malcolm Care Foundation supports Alonga Keta hospitals. Digitization project for basic schools launched at Talensi. And in business, $350 million paid into Petroleum Holding Fund. That's PIAC saying that Yeah, okay. World Bank, I think we should have a lot more going into that fund if we are able to manage the revenue well enough. Okay, GSE sustains bullish performance in September. Bankers Association calls for increased ATM fraud education. And that reminds me of the man who was caught with 656
ATMs,
cards.
yeah.
Don't invest in capital markets you don't understand. This is very good advice. And they make reference to the Ponzi schemes that people tend to put their money in. But that's the Securities and Exchange Commission saying that. Morocco scored 5 after Guinea-Bissau hit by medical drama. Right. And Blatter Platini case heading for trial. That's in sports. Spain and Italy's record run. Interesting. 4,000 fans to watch Ghana-Zimbabwe qualify. It's also here. And on the back page, Housing Minister inspects police housing project. 2 others. I'm sure it's the same thing, the same project at the police training school, Tessano. And resolve all chieftaincy disputes, Minister to Upper West Region House of Chiefs. That'll be it for the Ghanaian Times.
Okay, let me just do the daily guide really quickly. So front page, KGL Partners, GFA Juvenile League, Nana opens 2 factories in 2 months, government ensuring proper regulation in northern mines, Railway Authority and land grab, VEEP charges African governments to ensure education access. Let's just go straight to the entertainment page. Actually, let me do some international stories first. So page 5, Italy has been hit with rainfall rates never before seen in Europe. I feel so sorry for Italy. They've had such a hard time over the past 2 years, Israel. You know, first with the COVID-19, their numbers were so bad. And now they're having rainfall issues. It's raining a lot, especially in places that are not really known for rain. And you know how it is. Anyway.
But they're an industrialized country. They can manage it.
Well, that's what we say. But they've really struggled from the COVID-19. So Liberia's capital is the dirtiest in Africa.
Oh. No.
Yeah. So the head of the European Union mission in Liberia says he's appalled by how dirty and disgusting the capital, Monrovia, is, despite donors pouring in aid to clean it up and improve living conditions. Oh, he says, of all of the capitals I've seen in my previous posts in Africa, I've not seen one that is as dirty as yours. And then there's a picture there with just rubbish. Monrovia has a population of more than 1 million, so.
Is this in Monrovia that when the president was celebrating his birthday, we had some billboards mounted for him all over the place?
Yeah. Remember that story?
I'm sure the billboards would have a billboard on one side and the garbage.
The rubbish on one side, yeah. Pakistan earthquake kills 20. Earthquake kills 20. And then, okay, so rhythms on the runway to honor legendary showbiz personalities Pat Thomas and RMD. My mother tried to abort me. That's according to Celestine Donko. And I love you for your passion and commitment to our family and nation at Samira to Baumia. And of course, yesterday was also, apart from your birthday, was also Vice President's birthday. And he definitely got some love yesterday, as I'm sure did you. So it's all good. Some more entertainment. Neo Kain Kwesi Oteng for Highest Praise concert. Fancy Gadam features Shatawale on One Dawn EP. And Thrills at Takeover launch. So gospel artist Diamond put up a sterling performance at his Takeover album launch at Anakazo Assemblies of the Life Cathedral Church in Kasoa. Let me see if there's anything interesting on the back page. Stars tear lower tier side apart. Kotoko news skipper Abdul. Kotoko boys have gone to Dubai and they're looking so nice. So amazing. I saw them, what was it? I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. They've been training at Adrengano.
Okay.
And they have such a beautiful bus. I'm not sure.
So they went to Dubai, which is outside the country, abroad. Accra folk also went to Togo.
Wow.
And nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, because nobody really cares. All set for A's promotions, danger zone. Player sacked and arrested for kicking referee. That's it for the Daily Guide.
Yeah, but we're being, African. And we're Africans. So if you want to go anywhere, go African. You're going to give your money to Dubai.
Oh, really? Says you who was going to Greece? Yeah, okay. Let's
get to the finder. We'll just quickly go through the front page. Emerging mining sector in northern Ghana to be regulated. That's the Jinapor saying that Access Bank rated 5-star by customers. 2,126 killed in 9 months. That's the accidents that we're getting and the deaths that's coming with it. Motorcycles, 912, that's 42.8%. Commercial vehicles, that's 725, 34.1%. Private vehicles, 489. That's really troubling. First female AMA mayor pledges to build a new Accra. Dr. Bawumia celebrates his 58th birthday with cured lepers. And the front page of the Daily Dispatch.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
You know, when we get these new people who come into power and all of that, and they're promising to build new Accras, and could we just start with getting the Accra that we have to work?
And making Accra clean.
Yeah, can we just do just the basics before we get so, overly ambitious, and we're going to make Accra the most beautiful city in West Africa and in Africa. We're tired.
Well, maybe the building new Accra is getting Accra back to being what it's supposed to be.
So just say that. Let's just get the build. Okay, maybe it just sounds very glamorous, and it's never anyway.
And it's never achieved.
It's never. I mean, but Henry Korte is doing a really good job. So who knows? Maybe Elizabeth.
Maybe he will help Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Or Elizabeth is going to draw inspiration from Henry.
And then they'll.
Elizabeth, Henry.
Yeah. Elizabeth.
Okay, Daily Dispatch Parliament will discuss anti-LGBTQ plus bill devoid of religious beliefs. That's the majority leader saying that. And then fornication, adultery, bigger threat to society than LGBTQ plus.
Oh my God, I actually almost agree with him. I honestly.
Really?
Yes.
I want to understand why.
Why I agree with him? Because, no, I don't. It's okay. Let's continue. I'm not going to get into it.
We will vote out any government that opposes anti-LGBTQ plus bill. Church of Pentecost. Okay, so we have, that's it for the newspaper. Let's get on to my Joe Online and see what stories we have there on the front page. Millions of African children will be saved, Mahama, on WHO's approval of malaria vaccine. That's very true. And it's really good news to hear that we have the malaria vaccine.
After how many years?
Oh yeah, it's been long, but yeah.
Okay.
It's finally here, and we're happy about that. And UK to accept Ghana's COVID-19 vaccine certificate from October 11, which is good news. Suspected robbers kills security man in a Dancy rural bank attack. And then Abesim murder started killing dogs before switching to humans. Suspected lady tells police, oh no, this Abesim murder thing. The more you keep hearing about this,
the worse it gets, right? The Central Region Minister kneels to beg Assembly members to accept Cape Coast Mayor nominee. Why?
Yeah, but they still didn't accept.
Anyway, don't allow illegal mining to take root in Upper West Region. Lands Minister charges RegSec. Methodist Minister urges government to build swimming pools in schools. MP wants full disclosure into unlawful admission of over 200 students into the School of Law. That's served by Elizabeth Saki on there as well. Suspected robbers kill security man in Adansi Rural Bank attack.
Yeah. The Methodist minister urging government to build swimming pools in schools. We haven't even finished building
the classroom blocks themselves and swimming pool. By the time you realize it's a pond, the children are swimming in it with the fishes. Anyway, that's it for the news review. So coming up next, Oreku Ampofo will be bringing us the sports. But Israel, do you want to just fill us in on what we're
so we'll be having an extended version of sports. We'll be talking a lot more about the Black Stars match tomorrow and the fact that we're having Milo's, okay, so this will be Milo's first cap on his second coming.
Okay.
Yeah, no pun intended.
I see. Cup coming, yeah.
But yeah, he's been paid a lot of money, and people are expecting him to deliver.
To deliver.
From the indications we're picking up from the friendly matches he's played, people are saying, well, it looks like, yeah, we're on to a good thing. And the team, we can see a turnaround in the team. But we'll be discussing all of that, and we also want to hear from you what you make of Milo's first cap on his second coming. And yes, your expectations of the Black Stars as they go outing in this encounter under Milo. Then we'll also be talking about the confirmation of the MMDC, the president's nominees. It's been quite challenging.
It's been a whole, yeah.
we could create a whole soap opera about it. Exactly. But yes, we're going to be talking about, we'll bring some experts on to understand what is happening, the backroom dealings and trying to, the monies that have been exchanged, its implications.
The knees that have knelt and all of that.
Implications for our whole local governance system.
Okay.
That's the conversation we're going to be having.
Okay.
So do stay tuned in. We have a show coming up. And up next, though, is going to be Oreku Ampofo here with the sports. Stay tuned in. All right, so thank you, Oreku Ampofo, for bringing us the sports and the conversation about Milo and the expectations that we have of him ahead of tomorrow as the Black Stars encounter Zimbabwe in the World Cup qualifier. And by the way, happy birthday in advance to you, Oreku Ampofo. It's Oreku's birthday tomorrow. So let me just get that out of the way. And let's get on with the conversation. So it's about the MMDC confirmations that's been happening across the country. Some people have sailed through. Others are having quite a tough time. So it's turning out that getting nominated for by the president for the MMDC position is just one of the hurdles, and it's never a fait accompli. Securing the approval of the assembly happens to be the main challenge that many are having to go through. It has been smooth for some. Elizabeth Saki, and congratulations to you for being Accra's first female mayor, even though it's become apparent that there's quite a lot that goes on behind the scenes with a lot of money changing hands. Let's just get on to Zoom and speak with our correspondents who have been monitoring the confirmations across the country. We're starting in the Upper West region with Rafiq Salam. Hello, Rafiq. So we know that there's been quite a bit happening. Some people have gone through, have sailed through, and have been confirmed. Others, well, not quite. I would want us to start, first of all, with the report we put out yesterday about two people collapsing. Later, we reported that one had died. It turns out that that's not quite the case. So I'd want us to go back to that, and let's address that before we talk about the others.
Actually, Israel, what transpired at Wuchao, not many supporters of Ali Bukhari will not like to remember that very day because he was sure that he was going to carry the day. And then also it turned out that it was a total failure or rejection on his part. And that resulted in the two of close relatives of his collapsing and were rushed to the Warwick District Hospital. But as we speak now, they are in good health and have been discharged from the hospital, and they are currently at Busa and Naha, respectively.
All right, so the person who we had indicated had passed on apparently didn't happen to have anything to do with these two.
There was a death at Naha where the nominee hails from, and that happens to be an old woman over 100 years, but it's related to the nominee, but has nothing to do for the election that was done at Wuchao.
All right. So how many people in all are we looking at have been nominated for the Upper West region, and how many have sailed through so far, and how many more are we expecting?
In the Upper West region, we have 11 MDCEs. And so for now, for the records that the Upper West region minister and his team are having, they have gotten 6 wins, making it 6 confirmations. And then 2 will have an opportunity of having another bout of elections or confirmation. And then also 1 totally rejected. Sorry, the wins are 8. And then we have 2 that are going to go back to the assemblies for another part of confirmation, and also 1 totally rejected for now. So you have Nandom, Lambuse, Wa, Dibia, that's the Shima Bure Isa district, Wa East, they have Sesala West and Sesala East. And so these are the 8 municipal and districts that have been confirmed. And 2, Jiroba, and then also Laura, there will be another date for them to go to the assembly to decide their fate, whether they will be confirmed or not. But in the case of the Wa West, Ali Bukari, who happens to be the Upper West Region's Communications Director of the MPP, according to the minister and also the EC, it was total rejection, and what they need to speak with the president for the next line of action.
All right, thank you very much, Rafiq. It looks like the Upper West region has done quite a good job. 8 out of 11, that's quite impressive. But yes, we'll be looking at the other regions. We also have the central region to look at. But we will be analyzing all of that. We have Frederick Odro Ejakun, who is with the Local Government Institute, and he, as well as Amon Kote, and together we'll be analyzing what we're getting there, what we're picking up from all these regions. But let's go to Richard Kojo Nyako. Richard, we know right now the very iconic scene of having the regional minister go on her knees to beg the assembly members to vote. It turns out that they still rejected the MCE. What's the very latest on that?
Well, so that happened in Cape Coast and in other parts of the region where she's been touring. So wherever the confirmation is done, the regional minister is present together with other party functionaries and other ministers as well. So they go there, they judge with the people before the actual voting takes place. But what happened in the Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly was that there seemed to be a lot of interested parties in that particular place. They cited reasons why they are doing that. So when the MCE nominee failed to secure the 2/3 votes in the first round of voting that was done, it became imperative that the regional minister would step in. She did not do that alone. She went there with the transport minister, Mr. Samuel Boateng, and then Madam Ophelia Kwansahe for the MP for Mfantsman. So they were part of the people that were there. So she actually knelt down to beg the assembly members that this time round, do not vote against the president nominee in the interest of the development of Cape Coast. But the people went ahead to vote against the president's nominee. And so that has been the remarkable thing that happened in the Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly. That particular night, around 11 a.m., at 11 p.m., we were told that the president had renominated the MCE again. And so they wanted the 3rd round of voting to be done, but it faced some stiffer opposition. And so they had to adjourn it till Monday. So Monday, there would be that kind of voting. That would be the 3rd in the series after Mr. Ernest Arthur has been nominated. But there have also been some interesting development there. Yesterday, we saw that some concerned assembly members and Israel, when you get to the assembly, practically, you will know that it is partisan. So it's something that is not written, but they have NDC caucus in the assembly, they have the MPP caucus in the assembly. So those who, the concerned assembly members, they were mainly the NDC assembly members who said that the monies that were handed to them by the president nominee was what they have collated, gathered, and then they have put in a brown envelope. The money was given to them about a week ago. We heard, and there were speculations that 3,000 Ghana cedis were given to each assembly member that belonged to the NDC caucus, and then 2,000 Ghana cedis was also handed to the assembly members that belonged to the MPP caucus. But it turned out that the second round of voting, other monies were given. So we do not know whether it is the 3,000 that they were handed the very first time that they say they are returning, or the second round of voting, the monies they were given that they say they are returning. So a lot of issues come up because they had kept the money for more than a week, and they say that they are returning at this point in time. So yesterday they came together. They are about 24 or 25, and then they put. So we do not know actually who they handed the money to, and they did not disclose the amount of money in that particular envelope, Israel.
All right, thank you very much, Richard Konyonyako. But I mean, that was quite a story, having the assembly members come together to say they're handing over or handing back monies that have been given to them. It clearly shows that money changed hands. The money is being used to influence the votes of these assembly members. I'll go to Ina Thalia Kwanzaa, who is reporting for us from the Western region. Ina, so do you also have stories about money changing hands and people taking monies and saying that they're still not going to vote for the nominee?
Well, Israel, yes. So the first one I would want to touch on is in the Western North region, Joaboso to be precise, where after voting, the president's nominee could not pull 2/3 of the majority votes, and then supporters of the New Patriotic Party allegedly attacking assembly members, demanding that they pay back monies they had given to them. According to these supporters, they gave these assembly members monies ranging from 1,000 to 4,000 cedis. But at the end of the day, they refused to vote 100% for the president's nominee. Israel, it took the intervention of the police to save these assembly members, who were able to drive them to the Joaboso Police Command for safekeeping until sometime before these assembly members were left to go to their various homes. Another incident is that of Shama district, where an assembly member for the Shama Etifido came out boldly that, yes, his colleagues took 2,500 prior to the election. So they demand that they bring back these monies. But then the presiding member also came out and said that no assembly member took any money from the president's nominee. So these are the two allegations that has come out in the Western region and the Western North region.
Now, Ina, so how many have been approved so far for the region?
So far, we have 9. That is Ahanta West, Mpoho, Amenfi East, Amenfi West, Amenfi Central, Elembele, Nzema East, and the Efia Kwesiminti Municipal Assembly. This morning, there's going to be a confirmation at Jomoro, and there is only 1 to go. So when we add this morning's on to it, there will be 10 yet to be confirmed. And then that of Shama, which he didn't go through, it is estimated that on Monday, there is going to be the voting for the confirmation to see if they are going to give him the nod on the second confirmation voting.
So how many in all, and how many have made it through?
Yes, so in all, we're expecting 11, but 9 has made it through.
All right. Thank you very much. And I'm coming back to you, Richard Konyonyako in Cape Coast. So for you, the Central region, I also want to know how many do we have in all, and how many have made it through?
So Israel, we have 22 assemblies, but now they have approved about 10 of them, and so we have about 12 more to go. Today, there will be some of them, about 4 of them that will come up for the confirmation voting. And so that is what we do have. But Israel, the Asan South district was also one interesting place. They rejected the nominee in the first confirmation voting. And then yesterday, they slated yesterday for that. But they realized that 15 of them, they gave them a different venue other than the venue that the confirmation was going to take place. So today, they say they are heading to the law court to file the process to nullify whatever took place. They went there, and it emerged that there were some security persons that were at the gate. They prevented them from entering, even though they said that they are elected assembly members, legitimate ones, and they didn't allow them. And so it happened that Madam Fisher Emisantrakwa, the government, the president nominee, went through, had 21 votes out of the 21 votes, and so he secured 100%. But the first voting that was done, she had 21 out of the 36 votes vote cast. And so the minus 15 people, she went through and had 21 over 21. So it was quite an interesting spectacle at that place. You saw that they slaughtered a sheep. They also had crates of eggs and then a schnapp, and then they were invoking curses on the president nominee, the district police command, and then the electoral commission for perpetrating such an injustice against them, because they say their electoral areas were expecting them to take part in the confirmation voting, but it turned out that they had tricked them, and then only for them to prevent them from accessing the hall where the voting was ongoing.
All right, thank you very much, Richard Kodonyako, and to you, Natalia Kwanzaa, and to you, Rafiq Salam, as well, for all the insights that you're sharing and the updates you're giving us. Let's now have the conversation with our analyst, Frederick Ejakun Odro. He's a Dean Studies and Research Institute of Local Government Studies. Thank you very much. And we also have Amon Kote, who has been involved in local governance for a really, really, really long time. Thank you to you both for joining us for the conversation. I want to start with you, Frederick Ejakun Odro. So we've seen a number of these things happening. It's not new. They've been happening all the time. But do you get the sense that things are getting a lot worse, and we're seeing a lot more money being used to influence or getting involved in the process?
Absolutely. I think over the years, the people were not bold to come out openly to say, I took or received, I gave or I received bribes for electing MMDC and MMDCES. However, these days, people feel entitled that indeed I'm an assembly member. So if I have to vote for you, it doesn't matter your competence, doesn't matter whatever I want to do, I'm going to collect the money from you. And people are now, even on air, radio, TV, admitting that we took so much. Some will claim we were expecting so much and it didn't come. So there are so many issues to it. But I think what we need to also emphasize that this is plain corruption. It is bribery. The giver and the recipient are both guilty of this criminal act. And we should do whatever it takes to weed this canker out of our local governance system.
I'll come to you, Amon. Do you also believe that this is, outright corruption, or you would want to say that, well, this is an incentive and not necessarily buying the votes? Hello, Amon Kote. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you, Israel.
Okay, so what do you make of what appears to be the increasing monetization of the process?
We have in a way corrupted the whole local government system in the country, and the effect is what we are seeing.
Previously, when the president nominates someone, the assembly, by the standing orders, the assembly shall form an ad hoc committee to vet the nominee. It is because the members must be part of the decision making. So that was written in the standing orders. Come 2019, the standing orders have been amended. And now we don't have the assembly members interacting with the nominee before the elections. When an ad hoc committee of the assembly is formed, it is formed within the framework of activities of the assembly. So you have the coordinating director and other members being part of that ad hoc committee to vet the nominee. They will want to know his technical knowledge. They will want to know his human behavior. They will want to know his financial management. They will want to abreast themselves with why the president nominated the person. Then they inform the General Assembly, and then they vote on him. But we have taken away this opportunity, the window of opportunity for assembly members to be part of the decision making. So now the result is, well, they have to wait till the election day, then the member comes with a piece of note, read it to them, and then they go and vote. Some, on their own, invite assembly members into their rooms, their houses, or whatever restaurant to go and meet, and then they, do what we always do, item 13, and then after that, some envelopes are given. So we have corrupted the system ourselves.
Okay, so the corruption, the corruption has happened, as you're indicating, but this corruption predates the 2019 days, doesn't it?
Well, it is now becoming so obvious. It is becoming so in the open. Previously, yes, people, so far as I'm concerned, I have been an assembly member before. I presided when Ofe Dakun was elected into office. There was nothing like that. I did not receive any money from him or from any other person. But we voted for him. I presided over his elections. So I don't see where the previous issues comes in. Because you
may have presided over the process, but would you know if maybe on your blind side, the assembly members had been influenced?
I was an assembly member myself, and I'm saying that I did not receive anything.
Is that to say that the corruption hasn't been part of it?
It could have been part of it, as we all know what is happening now. But I'm saying that the spirit behind the assembly members being part of the vetting is very, very paramount in this discussion. Because, yes, the president has done the nomination, but the real appointment resides in the hands of assembly members. So if the window of opportunity given them has been taken away, now they are left with what? Okay, you want to be the MCE. Let's play a game. And this is the results that we are reaping. So I am not surprised. Some people have even taken more than 5,000 and still decided to reject their nominee. So whether the person has the technical knowledge, his human behavior is on top, he's in there, he has some good pragmatic strategies to assist in helping the district, nobody cares. All what we want is give us something and then we accept you. It's ridiculous.
All right, Ms. Odro, would you also say that it has to do with this amendment where they've taken away the power of the assembly members to vet the nominees? Would you say that's the reason we're seeing this open display of moneycracy, for lack of a better word, of the local governance process?
I don't see how that can be the situation, because as Mr. Kotegi said, this new model standing orders came into being just last year, 2020, and the challenge of the bribery taking place has been with us. At least I can trace it as far back as 2001. It's about 20 years ago. So I can't see how something that came up just last year can account for something that started over 20 years ago. So the real challenge is not to do with a vetting process. In any case, besides what happened in the 1988-89 when the process started and the early 1993 thereabouts, I mean, this process of vetting nominees has not been happening. I would be happy for anybody to tell me from the 2000 up till 2017, before we got into this level, where any assembly actually conducted that level of some form of interview or whatever we want to call it. So the real issue, from where I sit, is coming from the fact that if you put power in the hands of too few people to select leaders, you have this tendency of people making some of such demands. I mean, take it into our political parties. When they had these caucuses, selecting presidential and parliamentary candidates, the way out for them was to expand the electoral college. When you have few people forming the electoral college, it is easy to bribe them. But if it is opened up to a system of universal adult suffrage, how can you go into a district and pay to every single voter in the district for you to become a chief executive? So I think one of the key things we must do, we need electoral reforms, or we need reforms generally in our local governments. The system that was built is not fit for purpose. It is time that we put aside our political differences and really look at the fact that we've had a system that has run for over 30 years. Can we look ourselves in the face and say that the system we've put in place is workable and it can solve problems of today? I don't think so. There must be total reforms. We need to engage as a people. Where have we gone wrong? What can be done? I mean, even the election of MMDCES is just one part of the equation. There are several things that must be reformed if local government can be fit for purpose. As we stand down, these minor issues, I think, are just things that are emanating, things that we can see. So I believe changing the model standing orders last year cannot be the cause of what we are seeing today. Rather, this has started a long time ago. Only people were not willing to openly admit that I have received a bribe or a bribe was demanded from me. But now people feel emboldened to talk about these bribes. But it's been there all these while. And I don't think it is just a question of changing of the model standing orders. I believe that current model standing orders is rather proactive. It came out to solve critical challenges that were there. I mean, look at the fact that you can't even have presiding members throughout the tenure of an assembly. Maybe it's about time the president exercise some powers to suspend assemblies that fail continuously to elect presiding members, and perhaps even suspend assemblies that cannot confirm their MMDCES. So these are challenges that are there. But I think reforms can remove the challenges.
Right.
And we must be bold to look at these issues.
Mr. Odro, you call it outright corruption and plain corruption. What should happen if we've identified corruption in the process? Who's supposed to act?
Well, I think it's we need political leadership to start the process. But then we also need a better appreciation of our local governance system. Sometimes I get quite sad when I hear some of the commentaries, but in some cases, people may not have full grasp of the issues, but will make categorical statements. There must be reforms. I mean, if we are looking at the political side alone, we need reforms.
All right.
For instance,
I understand that. The process, the reforms you're talking about, would change the entire system. But I'm talking about you citing corruption. If someone has been corrupt, who should act? Is it the special prosecutor? Is it the police? Who's supposed to take action?
I'll be very happy if the special prosecutor begins to look at some of the video footages about people openly confessing that they took bribes. We need to review, even in the case of AME, comments were made by public figures concerning winning bonuses and all the likes. I'll be very happy if the special prosecutor or the police begins to review some of these footages and see if there's an avenue for prosecuting some of these people for their own comments. It will be very good. I mean, it's a criminal act. Plain and simple.
All right.
If the bribe has been paid, let the security agencies be at work.
Amonkote, so how do we deal with this corruption here and now? We've seen people come out to say that, yes, we're giving monies. Who would you expect to take action?
If a crime has been committed, we know the agency that is in charge of those who commit crime. So the police, the special prosecutor, Yoko, whoever, they are supposed to take control over this. But let me go back to the issue of the amendment. Yes, it is true that all central governments, past and present, let me put it that way, have not allowed the vetting process to take place. But what I was driving at is, before the amendment, we had this window of opportunity for assembly members to be part of the decision making. And that would have solved this problem of bribery, because the assembly members will have some opportunity to vet the nominee. And then a quick decision is taken from that vetting to the larger assembly, and then they vote on the person, either accept him or reject him. But all governments that have come and gone, they have never allowed this vetting process to take place. And so when we did this amendment to strengthen it, we are overboard. And this is exactly the results. Yes, there are people who believe that when we have a larger adult suffrage, they cannot be bribed. I'm surprised. MPs pay bribes. They have their way of doing it. Even presidents also pay bribes. I mean, let's be frank with ourselves. You can't say because if we veer into adult suffrage, there won't be bribes. People are paying. Why are MPs spending over 500,000 to become MPs? What do they do with their monies? I mean, let's be frank. You can't tell me when we move on to adult suffrage, then the problems of our bribery and all what is happening will be resolved. No. The local government system that we have, yes, it has traveled over 30 years, but we have never allowed it to go its full length. We have never allowed it.
What do you also, Amonkote, what do you also make of the regional ministers leading the charge when it comes to getting confirmation for these president's nominees?
Yeah, by the structure, they are the immediate supervisors of the district assemblies. So there's nothing wrong about that. But when, heard one making some statements. Yes, the NDC assembly members, NPP assembly members, next time when it is their turn, they should return the favor. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because we know by the act that all assembly members, when they went through non-partisan election. Yes, people can be, seen with NPP or NDC, but we cannot do it in the open as we are being asked to do. It is not acceptable, because if you look at the act, if party supports a candidate, the candidate electoral commission will have to take some decisions on that candidate. So why do we now go out to say this person is NDC assembly member and this person is NPP assembly member? Why? Why are we doing this to the system?
Mr. Odro, isn't that really the case that, yes, there are people who are there, but they support one particular party? I mean, and a lot of people have said that we should just be frank with ourselves. The local governance system we're running is partisan.
That was the argument some of us have made over the period. When people talk about, oh, we don't want partisanship at the local level, or particularly when we say we don't want political party involvement in local governance, I find it quite a strange proposition. We have built a system at the national level where we think political parties are good enough to lead the charge for the election of presidents and the MPs. But when we come to the local level, suddenly we make political parties monsters. And then the hypocrisy in the whole thing is that we know that the political parties are very active in our local governance. Go to every assembly. You find youth organizers, even constituency chairmen of the various political parties being elected or appointed assembly members. So what do we say of that? Is that not partisan? The appointment even of the MMDC. Can anybody tell me any appointee, a nominee MMDC who is from the NDC? Virtually every single one of them is a card-bearing member of the NPP in the current regime. So the system itself is partisan, but we are pretending it is not. So I am not worried about the comments of the references to political parties by any minister or the regional minister for that matter. But I'm worried about the fact that we are pretending partisanship or political party activism or leadership in local governance is wrong. It is not. I mean, I'm yet to be proven by anyone that in any particular country, they chose a system of local governance or a system of governance, which is partisans at the national level. But when it comes to the local level, we make the political parties monsters. They become suddenly divisive. They become suddenly unacceptable. I think we must be very fair to ourselves as a people. We've practiced the system for over 30 years. It has simply not worked. We must be bold. We must be come together and look for better alternatives. But what exists, I don't think from where I sit, is fit for purpose.
Now, what are the 5 things you'd want seen changed about our current local governance system, Mr. Odro?
Well, we need political reforms. That is obviously the first thing. But we also need to look at the fiscal side, that is financing of local governance. We need to look at it thoroughly because it's one area that seems not to be working for our assemblies. The assemblies are overly dependent on the 5% district assembly common fund. But for me, if you ask me, even the 5% is woefully inadequate. We also need assemblies to work on their IGF mobilization. That's internally generated fund mobilization. If we don't do that, it will not work. We also need to look at the core system of appointments within the assembly setup. That is, how do we recruit people into the assembly? If somebody is not good in one assembly, should that person just be transferred to another place or be sacked? Because if you are not fit to work in Lejokuku, you mustn't be fit to work in AMB. So we need to also look at those aspects. We must also strengthen when it comes to things to do with the physical developments in our local governments, because we've given assemblies the power to lead a charge when it comes to fiscal development in our areas. But we don't want to give them, in law, they have the power, but we don't want to give them the strength to actually enforce some of these things. We see haphazard development all around us, but the assemblies are not that strong to insist on some of the right things being done. So I believe these are some key areas we must work on. And finally, one area that is killing assemblies is to do with their engagement with the private sector. The capacity of the assemblies engage the private sector in various contracts administration is so serious that assemblies are dying because of all kinds of judgment debts and all manner of agreements that are made either for them or they make it themselves, but they do it so badly. We need to look at all these things. Otherwise, our local governance system will not do anything meaningful for us.
Mr. Amonkote, what would you want to see changed about our current local governance system? Hello, Mr. Amonkote.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes. A lot of people talk about adult suffrage, like getting parties and politics into our local government system. I don't support it. I still believe we can work it out by, for example, engaging the president, engaging the Public Services Commission to assist him in selection of MMDCES. Because creating partisan politics environment and making the whole thing look as if there is a booty that we have to go and share at the assemblies, these are the problems that are like eating the assemblies as we speak now. If you listen to some top party executives, we will want loyal members to be MMDCs. This position is not an elected position per se. So if the president is supposed to appoint chief executive for Ghana Water, why don't we bring the party people into it and then everybody, we make it political. But we select it through Public Services Commission and other agencies. So in the same breath, we are looking at chief executives, district chief executives, not mayors, because mayors are supposed to be elected into office. So if we want a chief executive, we want a chief executive who has some technical knowledge, he has some upright human behavior, his financial management is on top, he understands why he's being sent to that office, not any political emma, So if we create the political monster around the local government system and then turn around and say we have politicized it, I'm surprised at people who want to do that. Look at the books. There is nowhere written that president should nominate political party members into that office. No. So it is the decision from central government to politicize it. Now, if you politicize it and then you turn around to call it a bad name, I don't support it. Allow the system to work. Get Public Services Commission to assist you in the nomination. And then assembly members be allowed to do the vetting. Then we will be free to go. Yes, other countries, there are so many models in the whole world. In Africa, other African countries, there are partisan local government system. You can't tell me they are doing better than Ghana. You can't tell me that. You can't defend it. So why don't we appreciate what we have?
Can we have good examples? That will help. Let us not make it so open. Which are the African countries? Let's have good examples that these African countries are practicing this and it is working. Then we can learn from that.
That they are practicing ours. I am saying they are partisan politics inclined, and they are not better than what we are practicing. That is what I'm saying. Let's look at the output. We are looking at service delivery. We are looking at upliftment of the people in the socio-economic development. Let's take any other country and see whether because they are partisan politics inclined, they are doing better. That is what I'm saying. No. Go to Uganda. They vote for their mayors or MMDCES. What is the difference? What have they achieved that we have not achieved in our local government system?
They are doing very, very well. I would want you to revise your notes on Uganda. They are doing extremely well with their local governments. We are nowhere near them. Please, let us have the facts, because we bandy around issues we may not be aware of. What's happening? You are even interested in service delivery. In terms of service delivery, local governments in Uganda are doing way, way better. They've even moved beyond service delivery, and now they are looking at local economic development. And we are here thinking that we are doing so well. We are doing absolutely nothing here.
No. So far as I am concerned, I have the Commonwealth, how do you call it, a handbook here. I have followed local government all over Africa. I don't get that differences. The issue here is political central government are holding onto the practice, and they won't allow the system to work. So you don't turn around and blame the system that we are practicing. Let's allow the central government to allow the system to work. That is all what I'm saying.
All right, so having talked about all the corruption issues and the challenges we are having with the system, but let's look at some of the people who have made it so far. I think if you're taking some of the regions, you tend to realize that, yes, despite all the challenges, we've gotten some people through. And there are some significant, victories, you can say. We take the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, for instance, and the fact that we now have the first female mayor. What do you make of that? I'll take your thoughts to conclude. I'll start with you, Amon.
Yes. You see, this is the first time we are having a lady. Politically, let's say it's okay.
But will it make a difference?
Area. Again?
Will it make a difference having a female?
No, she has three very volatile constituencies. I mean, Udododiodo and Ablekuma South. Her position now, a lot of people, when issues come up, then they say AMA. A lot of issues come up, they say AMA. AMA is now 3 sub-metros, and let's say 3 constituencies. We've taken away almost all the other areas away from AMA. So listening to her, she's now going to make Accra clean again. And I ask myself, which part of Accra are we talking about? Because your jurisdiction is Odododiodo, Blekuma South, and Okankwe South. The rest, you don't control it. So I don't know how some of these things can be fixed. We have created
All right, we seem to have lost Amon Kote there, but I'll come to you, Mr. Odro. So, hello, Amon. All right, I'll come to you, Mr. Odro. So, yes, we have the first female mayor or, MCU for Accra. Does it make any difference at all?
I hope it does. because I am very, very unhappy with the number of women we have in these roles. I have a strong belief that women are less corrupt. That when it comes to issues to do with local governance, I mean, if you want to talk about health, education, water, sanitation, women play critical roles. So having a woman as a chief executive, even for Accra, should be a plus for us. And we need more. I believe we need a lot more. The current number, 38, is woefully inadequate. I am also praying that the chief executive succeeds, because we need to make a stronger case for more women to be appointed to these important positions so that they can bring on board that feminine side to leadership that we seem to be losing out so much. Because if we have women who are very good in what they do, it will come to show that over 50% of the population are also adequately represented. Then we must also support the women to succeed. I mean, if you look at the appointments that came, looking at broadly all the women that have been appointed, even with her in Greater Accra, we saw what happened in Ododo. People were out on the streets burning ties because a woman has been appointed in place of somebody they would have preferred. And this is not acceptable. We must rather support the women. And I believe that with a level of experience in politics, in her last, just a year ago, she was a deputy regional minister for Greater Accra. She should have a grasp of the situation. I would like to see her as the chief executive of AMA, galvanizing all the other chief executives in the region. We have this greater Accra, the Gamma area. That
metropolitan
is the metropolitan area. And even our local governance act requires assemblies to work together. Because when you have common challenges, you work together.
All right.
So I would hope that she will use her position to bring on board all her other colleagues so that together they can fashion out common strategies to overcome the common challenges they have.
All right. Thank you very much for your time here on the show. Frederick Ejakun Odro is a Dean, Studies and Research at the Institute of Local Government. And I also had Amon Kote, who's been an assembly member before, and he's a local governance analyst. He's been involved in it quite a significant number of years, I would say a number of decades. Thank you to you both for joining us for the conversation. We're taking a break here on the AM show. When we come back, we're talking housing. Do stay tuned in. All right, so for several weeks now, this year, we've been telling you about how to get your own home. And we keep on giving you the options. So we have been telling you it's either you're going to buy the house or you want to build. Now, getting land is a major challenge. So you may have to battle land guards when you cross the hurdle. Then the construction also becomes another challenge. Not forgetting getting permits and skilled artisans to do the construction work. We have an option for you to consider. And Mono Sethi, he's a general manager of Sethi Realty. He has joined me in the studio to share some real estate solutions. Thank you very much for joining us for this conversation, Mono. So I'd want you to tell us, first of all, about Sethi Realty and the options that you guys are offering.
Okay, Sethi Realty, most of you know our sister concern, Sethi Brothers. We've been here since 1990s, the early 1990s. And our prime core business is to supply the local construction industry with good quality steel.
All right.
And later on in 2000, we set up Sethi Realty Limited, whose prime focus was to design and build properties for commercial and residential purposes. And till now, we have done various developments all over Ghana, so namely Accra, Kumasi, Tema. And that's where SETI Reality is now.
All right. And what is the current project that SETI Reality is working on?
At the moment, so one of our flagship development at the moment is Nyamidua Apartments. We coined it the future of living. I mean, that's what, if you see what is happening in developed countries, people move into apartments because they can delegate the other work to the residential, the facility management, so they don't have to do it themselves.
They don't have to do the sweeping.
Exactly.
And cleaning up.
Yes, cleaning up, security, refuse disposal, all this takes time. We're really busy with our work now, so we just want to come back home and move into our apartment so that can be handled by facility management.
Yeah, if the electricity, the water is not working, somebody's taking care of that. Electricity goes out, and not having to worry about starting the generator.
Correct.
When the power goes out.
Exactly. So Nyamidua Apartments is located in Community 26, Tema. It's a new development. It's actually before Community 25. It's about a minute's drive from the Palace Shopping Mall. There's a new Palace Shopping Mall in Tema.
Okay.
So we're less than a minute's drive from there. We've built 240 apartments, 120 of 2-bedroom and 120 of 3-bedroom. And that is our current flagship development.
Okay, and what's so unique about your project relative to the other?
There's a lot of uniqueness to it. First of all, it's an integrated community with facilities like we have a school, swimming pool, tennis court, basketball court, a clubhouse. It is a gated community. We have 24-hour security with automated access control. So anyone who lives in the residence will come up there with their card swipe, and then they will actually have access to the site. We have five.
So there wouldn't be a security.
There is security. Okay. So in case a visitor comes in, they get flagged down to see who they are going to see.
Right.
But residents have their own access control. But there is security there as well, just to observe what's happening. Fiber optics ready in every apartment. So we have high-speed internet. So you don't need to go and buy your modems or your Wi-Fi's. It is.
And I would want to imagine for the fiber broadband, it's all being, rigged into
wired in.
Into the building.
All apartments have fiber optics wired in. So you come in, you say, okay, if you get an apartment, I want to subscribe to my service plan. We have that as well. Okay. It's located in a fast developing neighborhood. Community 26 is a new one. I mean, I don't know if you're in touch with what's happening in Tema now. They're going to expand the extension of the motorway to Central College. I don't know when they're going to start, but that's going to come in soon. There's a lot of development coming up in Tema. And in our where we are situated is very serene environment, very peaceful in the evening. So those are some of the points. It's also close to Accra compared to the other affordable housing estates.
All right.
All right. And one key point is we have designed and built it to save cost of living for residents.
Okay.
That's my key point.
All right. Now, how flexible are your payment terms?
Okay. I understand that some people don't have the cash up front, so we have partnered with a few banks, namely Republic Bank and FNB, First National Bank. They're the leaders and mortgage lenders in Ghana, and they're offering up to 10 years on payment plans.
All right. 10 years, that's
yes,
better.
10 years, yeah.
Okay. And so how do we also get to reach you if people are interested in?
Well, you can reach us by phone on 0551435555 or 0551438888, or you can go to our website online at www.nyamiduagh.com.
All right. And how about social media?
Social media, yes, we are on Instagram, SETI Reality, our handle is SETI Reality GH.
All right.
We're on social media too.
All right. Thank you very much, Monosethi, for joining us for this conversation.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm going to run the numbers by you again. In fact, the numbers are on your screen: 055 143 8888 or 055 143 5555. That should be very easy to memorize, or you can just take a screenshot right now so that you can get in touch with them and look at the options that they have available. So thank you very much once again for coming. Up next, we're bringing you Showbiz. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to AM Showbiz with me, Mapito CVD. And I have a very beautiful lady with me in studio. Hello, hi. Sally. How are you doing?
I'm well, yourself?
It's the velvets for me.
It's the African print.
It's the green for me. How are you doing?
I'm well.
Yeah?
I'm doing great.
How's everything?
Everything is amazing.
Yeah, I can see. It looks amazing.
Stop it.
All right, so let's talk about opinions.
Yes.
Yes, what's happening with opinions?
So a quick one. Opinions is, we're having a rerun of the season 1 and season 2, starting today, this Friday at 1:30 p.m. It will be live. It will be shown on Joy Prime, and every Friday at 1:30 p.m. So we are recording season 3, which will be on air pretty soon. Yeah. Filled with a lot of what should I say?
Excitement.
Beyond excitement, things that will blow your mind. So we are urging everybody, those who have watched the previous seasons and missed some episodes, those who are yet to join the Opinions family, to start watching from this afternoon at 1:30 p.m.
All right, so for someone who hasn't seen Opinions, what can I expect?
So Opinions is a lifestyle show. We discuss all sorts of topics, varied topics, from religion to showbiz to social issues to political issues, current affairs, all round. And we bring in celebrities and experts and people to just come and share their opinions. And they say opinions are like noses. We all have some.
Yeah.
And it's just really nice when you hear these people, especially the celebrities, share their opinions on what they think about these topics. And, you know, we solicit for other opinions on the street. It just makes the show really wonderful, you know, when we discuss these things. So that is what Opinions is about.
Okay, so the celebrities we would see on your show?
Well, let me talk about the previous ones. We've had some really tight combination. We've had Prior, my very own husband. We've had Ochame Kwame Reggie Rockstone. We paired them according to the topics. You know, we've had actors, musicians. We've had politicians. So the incoming season 3, we are looking forward to having Shatawale, Sarkodie, and a host of other big names. Onama Mike Brown.
Oh, nice, nice.
We are entering into Kumasi as well to bring in some of the stars from Kumasi as well. So
all right.
So
it's starting today?
At 1:30 p.m.
At 1:30 p.m. Talking about new shows, The Phenomenal Ladies with MFA Apo is also premiering on Sunday, the 10th of October. Let's take a look at this. MFA Apo with that show, Seligali, we're joining you today at 1:30 p.m., right? Yes.
And then I've popped in here, and Phenomenal Ladies, MFA Power, Phenomenal Lady, Maps, Phenomenal Lady, Sally, Phenomenal Lady, all Phenomenal Ladies. Sethi Realty has a promotion for you.
Okay.
Well, so they're saying 50% discount on their selected youth. 50, you're going to buy a house, 50% discount.
Hey, well, let me go fetch my money.
So prices at the time were 210,000 and 270,000 cities. The prices have been reviewed upwards on a monthly basis. Our prices this month is 226,000 and 286,000, and then they're advising, so go for the discounts. But that's it for the show. Thank you very much, Phenomenal Ladies, for joining me on this show.
Thank you.
On Monday, we'll be back with more. Just enjoy your weekend.
And happy belated birthday.
And happy birthday in advance.
Happy birthday in advance.
Happy birthday in advance to MFA.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Enjoy your weekend.